All right, troops. Chris Sayre's my favourite person from Bristol. How are you getting on?
Yeah, well, a lot's changed since last time, as you know. So I was trying to think when the last time was. So I had a quick look to make sure I didn't wear the same T-shirt twice, because that would have been embarrassing. And
yes, you're very Coldplay today. It's all yellow.
Yeah, so I think the Upfest Festival hadn't happened yet. So that was a major, one of the biggest street art festivals in Europe. And so that happened in the summer, after the whole world stopped. It was meant to happen. Yeah, so that was really, I learned a lot on that one. I took 14 hours to do that piece because I didn't know how to use a spray can at the time, so I just did it with paint.
Yeah.
And I soon realised why people use spray paint. It's a lot quicker.
Yeah. In fairness, I wasn't good with any paint.
Well, I'm only good because I've got obsessed with it, and then went through that period of being terrible. And it's the same with spray paint as well. I've got to go through that period of getting better, but I'm a lot more confident than when I did the festival. So yeah, I did two walls in Bristol since then, which was as part of the Bristol Mural Bristol Mural Collective, where it's more of a social, and there's legal walls where I'm known for getting painted over. We even had some community police go down and sort of like, nice artwork, so it was all good. I then just finished a 3-month gallery show in North Street, Bedminster, so North Street Gallery, which is a cooperative gallery, so that's artist-led. So not the prestigious ones, but it meant that I met a load of people, a lot of art lovers, and got to talk about my artwork, and even sold a couple, which is amazing. And just got to talk about the artwork, really. And what I realized is that it's not about the selling, it's about, that's the byproduct of them having connected to your artwork and connected to you and connected to your story. That's like the end thing. That's not, you're not aiming for that result. It's where you are, but it's through getting to know you, your artwork, that happens. So so really good experience.
Yep, you've done really well with your artwork as well, and obviously with your channel, your extemporary art has been coming on quite well.
I'm sort of, well, we started the podcast together, so that's another thing which has made me rethink my art channel, because I was like, okay, so you are meant to get subscribers then. Okay, so it's so that's been doing really well and been really helpful, talking to other artists and all that sort of stuff. But the art channel is kind of taking a revamp now, because I tried the weekly schedule as recommended by yourself, and when I had a backlog, great. When I didn't, so at the moment I'm switching it up to a monthly live, which may, once I understand the technology, may be more often, but done 2 so far, because I needed to find out what the technology was like, so I could wait a month to try it out again. I did 2 back-to-back, one day and the next day, and I've learned what I need to. I'm going to build like a little rig, so it's all the same level every time. Work out the audio, because I need like a longer lead for the mic, I think, and all the sort of technical things we figure out along the way, really.
Yep, that's all part of the learning journey and part of the process. As I keep telling you, trust the process. It's called a process for a reason. It does take time, but you do get there. And obviously you came on as a client for a little bit before I brought you in fully to the Ginger Media fold. So it was 196. I think you started with me for subscribers.
Something like that, yes.
And it's now just over 301, I believe.
305 at present.
305. There we go. There's been 4 extra than I realized.
Yeah, I just released a few TikToks on the back of Gary Fee saying, put some YouTube shorts, just rehash the TikToks. So I can't remember if that was one of. No, that was one of the other podcasts I was listening to. I was listening to T2 Sugars and him talking to Smo Nova.
Yeah.
And very various others.
Yeah, because I didn't have a clue about TikTok. Ginger Media is only just recently went on TikTok, and that's about as far as we're going to go at the minute until we get everything down. But in terms of like the short form content, you've helped me so much with it, like figuring out what to do and kind of how to go about it. I mean, I've been doing some courses out with as well to try and help me bump my game up a bit. And again, it's all part of the learning curve, learning experience. I think it might be like our different types of styles. Like I'm more used to long form because storyteller, actor, gab shite, as they say.
The
Scotland,
longer I talk,
yes.
I think, am I being boring? Is anyone going to listen to this length? And it seems that a lot of people will have a coffee, listen for 20 minutes, come back to it, or they'll listen while they're creating artwork, which is what I actually often do. So they just listen to it in a different way. Whereas, I mean, the short game can still be your beginning, your middle, and end. It's just happening in 15 seconds.
Yeah.
So,
Just trying to condense that down for me. What is where I kind of struggle with it and keeping it kind of snappy and fresh and all that kind of stuff. But at the same time, you've taught me how to kind of improve the short game, and I've taught you the benefits of long game, especially when it comes to like the YouTube side. And honestly, by the time this goes out, I'm pretty confident you'll have crossed 1K. I'm pretty I'm like 98% sure you'll have crossed it, because at this precise time of this recording, how many subscribers are you on?
So Red and Yellow Make Ginger is currently sitting on 872 from a surge of about, I think we had like 80 people yesterday come in. So
something like that, yeah. Well, it just shows you kind of with the right bits and pieces kind of behind you and the right skill set, and just because you've always had the skill set, man. I wouldn't have brought you on board if I didn't think there was something that you could bring to the table. And you've more than brought it.
It's just figuring out how to package it. I think that's where I struggled, is that I had the content in terms of what was in the video, but then getting people to watch it in the first place with the thumbnail, the title, and how to get it to the right people. That's what I think was slowing me down. But using your expertise with how to get a new channel I don't know, the algorithm or whatever, to understand that this is a podcast channel, this is what it is, and get it to the right people, it means that I think it was quite slow on. Well, the first episode was really quite quick, actually, with I think got up to 400 or 500, and then it's now at 750 views, I think. The second one was quite slow in that I was only got 80. Okay, fine. That's at 760 now. So it's But it's weird because as soon as you get it's like money. As soon as you have it, you stop looking at it. So I am looking at the numbers a little bit, but I'm not as interested in that as I was on the art channel. Where I was going, what am I doing wrong? Bashing my head against a wall.
It's one thing I've kind of found with it is that it's the hustle that a lot of people try and constantly chase. Once you've got to a certain point, you're like, okay, right, can I do it with this channel? Can I do it with this? Can I do it with that? It's the constant hustle of trying to get it there. Because for example, like yours is 872 at the minute. Like my brother's gender transformer is 33.
However, his Instagram he's really killing that game.
Yeah,
207 at the moment on Instagram.
Yeah, something like that. Like what I just left. I knew Daniel could do Instagram. I knew that he was because he was on that before I was on it.
Yeah.
And anyway, but he's his own channel's a bit more kind of slow. But since passing over the reins to him and going, right, do it. You've came up with these ideas, do it. You've came up with this idea, do it. You've come up with that idea, do it. And it's just been going up and up. And he's generating a lot of interest through that. And the wrestling side, the Raw's Ginger podcast, it got an initial surge of subscribers, went to about 53, and then it's just kind of went boop. But it's the same deal. It's like there's different ways for different types of channels and different processes and how we go about it. And I think that's what I think I was like yourself when you were going, you're like, is this definitely going to go somewhere? And I was like, yes. May not go exactly the way you want it, but you will get there, like everything else.
Well, that was before we started, so we didn't even know. So the first couple of weeks was like, okay, fine, we've got 30, 40 people. Okay, fine. 2 weeks later, it just skyrocketed, didn't it? And like I say, once you start getting the numbers, even though we're not on in comparison to the YouTube world, we're not on like loads, but once it starts going up and you've got that momentum going and you've got things coming in, then you can look at how to improve the content rather than I need to get numbers, which is it's weird because you should be thinking about that to get the numbers, but because you get stuck in that kind of frozen state, you don't find the solution.
Yeah.
And it's the same with art, I guess. It's the same with I'm going, why aren't I selling? Then you start thinking of selling and you're not painting anymore. You're not improving your craft. So so now I have sold. I've got that confidence to go, okay, I've done it before. It's been a few months now, but I'm going to go back to classes. I'm going to learn to get the stuff I don't know and improve or use techniques that I know of, but I don't use it in that way. And just get to know how other artists paint and go, and because I know, or at least I've been doing it for a few years now, I can go, okay, I can take that now and use it in this way. And it's very exciting how, because I'm doing lessons with the Brown Centre, which is run by Vincent Brown. He's well known. He's on Portrait Artist of the Year. He's won BP. Is it BP? I'm going to have to look that up in a minute. But he's won one of the portrait awards and national. I always forget the abbreviations, but
but it's still what that's a good thing. And one thing that I like about the way you've been like since you started doing the podcast in particular, your confidence has really went up. Well, and I think, do you think it's maybe because like you've had less pressure of, do I have to worry about views or subscribers or things like that? Do you think it's just been like, okay, I know Andrew's going to try his best for me on that side. I can focus on doing the thing I love doing, which is the creating.
Yeah, I think also it came on the back of the gallery show. So that really gave me a lot of confidence, having sold 2 originals and 2 prints and a few greeting cards and things. But that gave me the confidence to go, okay, I am valuable, I am worth something, and I have been putting a lot of effort into this. But then also with YouTube, I knew that I was learning to be more natural on camera. I've still got still room for improvement, obviously, but
there's room for improvement all around with that. Like, I mean, people even say to me like, Andrew, you're confident, you're this, you're that. Time I was recording, I have had an absolute stinker of a week. Like, I've had a stinker. Like, my confidence has hit the floor. My mental health has plummeted. Well, I've not felt like I've been in a good space at all, and it's shown in the content that I put out. Well, so everybody gets it. Everybody has that dip. It's just it's the digging yourself out. Sometimes it's easier said than done, but if you've got the right people around you who believe in what you're doing and trust what you're doing, then it's usually that little bit easier. Well, and just getting to see like yourself, like Chris, like just coming into your own and like figuring out your own techniques as like a presenter, and like how to ask specific questions to like artists and stuff like that. It's really fascinating to watch.
Yeah, I mean that's a real learning curve, and you start to actually start to realize that people aren't trying to catch you out. They're there to they want you to do well. They want to talk about their story, and it doesn't have to be super polished or anything like that. And going back to your mental health and things like we talked about, I don't have worried about you working too hard actually and making sure having a podcast about mental health. We don't want you to not follow your own advice.
It's that I always say that's the parent in me. It's the do as I say, don't do as I do kind of thing. And it is tough. You've managed to turn this around on me now. I'm answering a question, so there you go. You're really improving. You're improving your skill set, my friend. But I always find it it's harder to follow your own advice than it is actually to give the advice, because you can say, well, I've been there, and then you go, oh crap, I'm there now. What do I do? But it can be tough. But one thing I've liked about like seeing your confidence grow in particular is that you're reaching out to people that, like you'd said to me beforehand, that you never thought you would reach out to go, can you come on my podcast, or do you want to come on my podcast? Do you think that's maybe just down to the fact that your confidence has grown a bit, or do you just or do you think I was going to do it anyway?
No, it's partly the confidence. I had loads of acquaintances and network that I could have kept going with, and I will contact them as well. But yeah, the confidence was going up, but it's just nice to have a legitimate reason to connect to people. And I'm amazed at the people that have said yes. I can't say until it's recorded and it's going to be coming out, but yeah, I've got some exciting guests coming on, and it's
well, that's the tease as well by my
with quite a following as well. So
and it's the tease as well. It brings them in.
Yeah.
It brings them in. And hopefully, and obviously, because you're part of what we're trying to build, hopefully it means that more people from our side are coming to support you as well. I mean, like for example, like Kev, who does Gentle Dorks, like he likes your stuff.
Yeah, we've been sort of. I'm a big Last of Us fan, so we've been talking about that a lot, and there's other sort of dorky, geeky, nerdy things. So.
Yeah, definitely. And what I've talked about even with my brother as well, like how you'd want to, like because Transformers is 2D animation, that's art. You're an artist. And kind of discussing those type of things. And
sure, there's something we can do with that, because
there's definitely.
I was never like a massive Transformers fan, but I used to watch the cartoon. I've watched some of the films, and I never got into the comics because the comics was never my thing, so I didn't even know that existed. But yeah, it was one of those things where I watched it alongside like the X-Men animated and things. So it's a childhood nostalgic memory, and but yeah, just to hear your brother's knowledge. It'd be nice to sort of have like a little overlay with the story.
Yeah,
I think,
obviously, once this comes out, that's all been after my brother's interview has dropped. So I can freely talk about how, when he had Transformers on, the Transformers movie, I was about 6 years old, and Optimus Prime died in the movie, and I was greeting, crying about it. So my brother decided to tie me to a chair and constantly play that scene over and over and over, and mentally torture me. And then my favorite character was Wheeljack, and he would throw that in as well.
Yeah, at least it wasn't the Lion King though. That was horrific.
I'd already been broken by that point. It was still bad. It was still horrible to watch, but Daniel had broke me with Optimus Prime by that point. It was rough going. But yeah, it was always something that I really did, even though I wasn't a Transformers fan. Like I'm Thomas the Tank Engine, as you know, but but Daniel to Transformers is me to Thomas. We both have like such deep knowledge of it because it's something that we're passionate about and that we care about. And again, as the last episode with Daniel proved, he actually started with Thomas because it came out when he was born, and then I came along and the videos get passed to me, and then he had a wee kind of gap of where'd I go, what did I do? Oh, it's big things that transform into things and beat the crap out of each other. I'm cool with this. And that was him. And it's like I always seem to find that because Daniel was the older brother, the knowledge transferred without me realizing it. So like when I'm editing his videos, I can be like, oh, I know about this. I can go and Google it and get a nice image, or I can do this, or I can do that. Because most of the time his videos are about at least 4 times longer than what actually comes out. Because he has so much knowledge, it's like it all comes flying out, and I'm like, right, I love the knowledge, I really do, but I need to try. You'll know yourself now doing the creating. You've got to keep it streamlined to what it is you're saying in the video. So if he's talking about the Autobots, don't talk about like the Junkions and the Quintessons until those episodes are coming out.
Yeah, I mean, I found that tricky when I was like filming a vlog when I was in the first year of YouTube. I was trying the Vlogmas and things. You have to keep the video one subject per video, or at least one and a little subplot, but nothing too. You got to find that tangent, and it must be more difficult when trying to tell a story of the whole universe of Transformers. And I'd love to be a fly on the wall when you're editing that, because too. And
you're not the only one that wants to be a fly on the wall with that one. Kev's the same, because also he's my second in command, so we do. Whilst I edit his videos too, and sometimes he's like, I'm going too long, and I'm like, wait till you hear my brothers. But Daniel does keep watching, then he knows that I love him really. And it's like the same with yourself and Kev and Toner, who's going to be who's on the wrestling podcast now. I don't bring people into the folds unless I think they have something to contribute.
Yeah, exactly.
And what I say, and it's good for me as well because I can be like, why do people want to be on my part of Ginger Media? Look at my examples. I was like, look at my testimonials. I'm literally working with my testimonials all the time.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah,
So,
I mean, your brother has this quiet confidence, and I think it's just getting used to the video, isn't it? Because I remember what I was like. There's still that video out there when 2 weeks before I started YouTube, the Handsway Collective invited me to do a live Instagram talk, an artist conversation, they called it. And I only found out it was going to be live 2 days before. And I was like, well, I thought it was going to be edited, but I can't cancel now. And I was pacing back and forth and all like this. And so it's still on YouTube, and I still share it to this day because I think it's good to show people where I started. And when people say, oh, I can never be on YouTube or video or whatever, that's exactly what I thought. And the more you do it, the more it becomes a normal, your normality. And and it is a good community here. So yeah, it's I've met you, I've met Epic Kate, I've met loads of people, Bradley and Clee, and all those, and a lot of amazing people. And I even talked to Katie Warner a few times on Twitter, and so I haven't met anyone officially, but it's but there is a community that you don't really get on other social media, I find, because you're putting your face out there and you're spending so much time on the editing. So I think there's a different culture on YouTube. So brother just needs to get through. I think I did probably said it on the other podcast that I did with you, but 85 little mini videos I never released because they're awful, and just film 2 minutes, edited each one, just get used to it and figure out where the level of my voice was, because when you're nervous you go, that doesn't sound like me, but that's because it doesn't.
It never sounds like what's in your head. Well,
no, it doesn't.
That's something.
Also, when you're nervous it sounds different too.
Yeah, but it's something that I actually did want to ask you about that since you brought it up. Since I started doing the podcast, and obviously I've had to hear my own voice a lot, and edit my own voice a lot. And it used to be a case where I thought that doesn't sound like my voice. Like I would think my voice sounded deeper, but when I heard it back, it sounded like my testicles hadn't descended yet. It was kind of like I thought, oh, it sounds quite I was like, I meant sound more Scottish, and I'm like, wait, I can actually enunciate, and English people understand what I'm talking about. But over the course of doing all these recordings, all these episodes, I've gotten used to my voice. It's like the voice I hear in my head now is actually what comes out.
Yeah.
Do you find that you're starting to get to that point, or are you still going sometimes? I'm not sure about my voice. I'm not sure about it.
No, I've definitely got to that point. There's still moments where if I have a nervous moment, I go, do I really react like that when I'm nervous? And so there's little moments still, but for the most part, I am who I am. And I am who I am once a camera's in my face. So
yeah,
that's the thing. People say, be yourself. Like, yeah, but I've never had a camera pointed at me this close before. I don't know who I am in that situation. So that took a little while. But yeah, I feel like this is me, and this is how I would speak. And yes, with my editing, I can edit all the little stumbles out and sound really articulate. But on these live things where there's minimal editing, there's no getting away from that. And the live stream is going to be stumbles. And
well, some of the editing stuff that you do, just depends on how you do it. Like I said to my brother, I said to him in the last episode, and he was like, "Oh no, this is live. You're not going to edit this." And I was like, it's not live, but no, I'm not going to edit it, because that's the point of the podcast, is that it's meant to be unfiltered. Whereas if, like, for example, I was editing one of my Thomas episodes today, and because I'm adding in still images of engines or whatever, and I'm noticing the gaps between where I'm stopping speaking and then when I'm going into it, I'm like, oh, I'll just tighten that down, and you don't see it because it's just a still image, so you're okay. But since you were mentioning the bits that you do edit out, one thing I noticed when I started recording, that I had my own little ticks. Like I would go like, or or and like those type of things. So and you're able to eventually pick it out, yourself. You see it in the wee sound wave, and you're like, that's when I'm going, I know when to cut that straight away. So what has been your particular like sound bite, that the one that you know straight away, you're like, I can just go dink, dink, dink? way it goes.
Well, I used to have a stutter when I was a teenager, so I still have these little into the sentence sometimes, like so yeah, and then we're into it. So I would cut those out, and it suddenly sounds punchy and into it. And occasionally I have a long pause because I'm thinking, and you can. I still leave the pause in because otherwise it's not natural, but I just shorten it because otherwise it's just too long. And yeah, I mean, this is why I liked editing. It's why I fell in love with editing really quickly because like, there we go. I'm starting to notice them now, but
Yeah.
but yeah, you can really sound like you know what you're doing because you can take out all the pauses. You can take out. I mean, I've stopped doing that as much now. I'm leaving more of that in. The more comfortable I get, and the better I'm getting on camera. But I do like the edited world, but I am venturing more into the lives and less editing now because I want to get back to being able to be an artist again and paint. So
Yeah. But I'm loving the way that you're experimenting and you're developing as an artist, as a presenter, as a content creator. You've been doing so well. And I particularly love your editing style
oh, thank you.
because it shows it shows your personality, I think, because everybody like edits slightly differently. People think that's not the case, but everybody has their own brand, like their own stamp on it.
There's definitely a style to it, even though you're doing the same things. You do it in a slightly different order. You use the talk in a different way.
Yeah, and if you look at like the first two episodes of Red and Yellow Meat Ginger, you can tell the first one was the one that I edited, and you can tell the second was the one that you edited because they are two different styles. The content is still the same of what you're doing, but if we took the raw footage of each of like say episode 2 each, there would be two different kind of ways that it would be presented.
Yeah, exactly.
And it depends on what your style is. And that's why when people ask me about like coming on in Ginger Media and they say, you know, is it essentially going to be like the Witherspoons of media companies? And I'm like, no, it's not at like, you know, you fall into the same rule. It's like, I give you the tools to do it, but I want you to have your own style. That's what makes it unique. That's what you want to see. You don't want the same. If you want the same old, watch ITV.
Yeah, because it is a production company, but you're almost acting like the agent in a way. You're promoting it and marketing it, so you're more the distributor, which I can never say that word smoothly, but yeah, you
said that smoother than you thought.
I did.
Yes, you did. Well, and it's because everybody knows like that's eventually where I want it to be. Like I want it to be its own streaming channel, and it would be a case of I would go, I like this content. Let's get this content on our stuff, and then draw me money. Essentially, like I said, the Vince McMahon of the podcasting world.
Well, we have got bills to pay and we got food, so
yep. We all got a hustle in this life.
And yeah, it's the same with the fuse. Once you hit that threshold of money, you can then stop thinking about it and just get on with it. So it's the same with anything really. Once you've got that, everyone has their minimum, but my minimum's fairly low, but then it gives you room to grow from there afterwards. But
one thing I've made
yet, but it's money's not everything, but there is a level
nice to have
where you can stop thinking about it and get on with just creating content. And
and it's when people ask me about the YouTube monetization, they're like, "Oh, can't wait to get monetized. Oh, it's gonna be great." And I'm like, you know, you're lucky if you make like £1 a month. You know, if you're lucky. See if what it was like my highest earning channel, you would think is that Mental Ginger Show because it's got over 10,000 subscribers. It's not. It's the Ginger Engine.
And it's the fuse, isn't it? Because
it's but it's not even that. Like this outstrips Ginger Engine in terms of views. Sometimes I'm getting 2,000-3,000 views. Ginger Engine can maybe get 1,000, but it's part of the engagement as well. Like doing a mental health podcast, a lot of people don't want to engage in comments because it's such a personal subject. Whereas I'm like, you know, just engage. Tell me what you think of the content, blah, blah, blah. But with the Thomas side of it, everybody's got an opinion. Everybody has an opinion about it. And when they put those opinions in the comments and then you reply to said comments and you're engaging, that's actually getting you more traction and in turn generating more money because you're building the community that YouTube wants to see. It's why, like, you know, obviously I've still got access to, you know, your YouTube channel as well from the studio, and I do like when I see some of your people like leaving comments, and I'm like, oh, that's nice, and I'm like, why has he not responded yet? To reply, tickle the box, that little algorithm to get it going, boost up a bit. And speaking of tickling the box of the algorithm, we've talked about it plenty. So as I always do, plug, my friends, not just red and yellow makes ginger, plug extemporary art again. We want to get, you get your empire going as well, your art empire.
I mean, with extemporary art, I would love people to just let me know the sort of content they want to see, because everyone disagrees. So I want more time lapses. I want less time lapses. But at least it gives me an idea of what people are enjoying, and so that can be found on Linktree. That's probably the best way, because you got my website, you got YouTube, you got the podcast as well. If you want to listen to that, and the Redbubble merch store, which eventually, once I get more well known, would become wholesale with some of the items, but I don't want to have 300 t-shirts or mugs in my flat. I really don't. So
that's why they have drop shipping.
Yeah, that's what it is. But essentially, print on demand. So even some full-time artists do use it, because they're going, I don't want to deal with mugs. I just want to deal with prints, originals. Those I'll do myself. Maybe stickers, and then that's enough.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I'm at, really. And so all the originals and prints are sent from myself, and then if you want wearable things, and Redbubble does it for me. So
well, and some of the artwork that's at the back of you, I've got to ask, is that stuff that is sold? Is that stuff that's up for sale? I particularly like the wolf.
It's a wolf, and
I like that. That's a nice wolf.
I did that in 2020, but I haven't shown it on this channel yet, and that is available. That is on the website. The one above is on the website. I need to put this little dude onto the website, and this t-shirt's from Redbubble, actually. Got the
hey, he's got the merch on. Good on him. Good on him.
So
let's see. He's learning from this ginger master who's not wearing his merch. He's just wearing a Star Wars t-shirt. But still.
No, I had to get this for the artist's social. Just see, I thought I might as well wear my own thing. So
that's the whole point. You're promoting your brand.
Yeah, there's another
no matter where you're going.
Yeah, there's another company that Slew mentioned. He's an artist on YouTube. Probably people probably know he's got like 500 odd thousand people, I think. I might got that wrong, but a lot. And he was talking about a company that does embroidered stuff on print on demand. And I thought, okay, so I might look at that. So there's a few little things, and I want to try and embed it into the website if I can work out how. It's not all about selling, but I've got various things where you can enjoy the artwork in various price points, and from like £2 for a sticker right up to whatever. So
I mean, you're always learning, you're always growing, and that's kind of like because I won't ask the one piece of advice question, because you're a returning guest. We've already been down that road. What I do want to ask you is, what's next for you? What do you see? Where do you see the next kind of, we'll just say like 6 months? Where do you see it going, like in terms of your plans with extemporary art or red and yellow make ginger? What's the plans?
Well, because the podcast is starting to do well, and it looks like it will continue to do well, I'm going to enjoy booking the guests on and enjoy that interaction, because it helps me as much as it helps the guests to be able to have that community with other artists and just hang out with people who get it, who are gone beyond the hobby now, and whether they're full-time or they're not making money in it, but they're treating it as if it's professional. And the ups and downs we go through when we're trying to do that. So that's very important, because it gives me a lot. So now that's doing well, I'll be changing the way I approach the content on extemporary art. I will still be doing edited videos when a really good idea comes along and it needs to be edited. Other times it's going to be the live stream, which I would like to do more monthly, but I'm going to have to really work out the setup. Once I've got the setup, I can sit down and draw and go live, then it'd be more often. So that's going to change. And what that will allow me to do is to do what I love doing, and that's to paint more, learn how to paint better, get the paintings a bit more polished, because a lot of the content you see on social media has taken me between 20 minutes and 6 hours. The painting I've just finished took me 30 hours.
Yikes.
So
Yeah.
the stuff you see on social media isn't necessarily the finished article, because I haven't spent as long on it, and then I feel a bit like, oh, is this what people think is my final product? and then of course that's what the website's for, because that's where the wolf didn't take that long, but yeah, this painting I've been working on has taken a while, and generally commissions take a little bit longer, so between 20 and 50 hours usually, whereas a lot of my paintings for myself, I do it in more of a study and to learn and to
Well, one last, I know I said that was the last question, but I'll give you one final one. You up for some collaborations in some of the other Ginger Media Limited podcasts?
Yeah, I mean, there's a few exciting ones. You mentioned talking about, was it the superhero one? Or
Gentle Jerks.
Yes, so that's one of them. We haven't talked about Red Dwarf yet, but I'm a big Red Dwarf fan, and you've got me watching it again through.
Don't worry, Red Dwarf one will be coming. We're just starting to get the wheels in motion. Same with Ginger Games board. That's going to be going into production as well. Just got a couple of things I need to sort before that happens. But it's the same. Like we talk about, obviously the YouTube community, but like the point of Ginger Media is that it's a community as well. We promote each other's content. I don't want it to be where you're off in your own little art bubble, or Kev's off in his own little superhero-y pop culture bubble, or I'm in my own mental health bubble. We all help and contribute each other, and you're all. And I've said it the same to my brother once he gets his confidence up, and I'll say it to you again. You're always welcome to come on any of them as a guest.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about, I don't know if it's got finalized at all. I don't know if I can even say it on the podcast, but we were saying it'd be good to have a group Zoom podcast with all of us and have them. And my idea was have it like the Muppet Show, have like the panels and people just pointing down and going.
There is a potential plan.
Something and it becomes something else. And
yeah, there is a potential plan coming up. I can always fill you in on it off air. But until next time, my faithful followers, I've been Andrew Durnan. It's been great to have Chris Shopland back from Extemporary Art and Red and Yellow Make Ginger. Check both out. I guarantee by the time this goes out, he will have his 1,000 subscribers. Until next time, take care. Stay safe. Bye-bye.